everyone. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. I am Denise Salcedo. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. We are going to chat about AEW Dynamite, and we have so much news to get into today. I mean, not only are we talking about everything that went down the last 2 hours, we really also have to talk about some of the major announcements that AEW made today in regards to their programming. So we have all of that and more to get into here tonight. But first and foremost, I want to welcome you all to the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in each and every single week. BTW, if you don't know this already, this is a very interactive show. I will be reading all of your thoughts, your comments, your questions, whatever it is that you have on your mind as we go through this entire stream. So make sure to stay active, take part in the chat, and I will be reading your comments. Also, if there's something that you have to say and you're like, Denise, I really need you to read this, you can go ahead and send it in the form of a super chat. If you do send in a super chat, F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of the money that I make from the super chats after, of course, YouTube takes their cut of my money, even though they screwed me yesterday on my birthday stream. Let's not talk about that anymore. But seriously, guys, if you guys want to help me out here, feel free to send in a super chat at any point throughout this stream. But if not, we're going to go ahead and get started. So let's kick things off with the news that broke ahead of AEW Dynamite today. And that was the fact that not only is AEW Dynamite getting a new home, but we are also getting a new show and a couple of other shows coming out of this starting this year and next year. So let's talk about the news that came in for today. So January 2022 is going to be a new year for AEW fans in the sense that Dynamite will no longer be airing on TNT. In fact, it will now be airing on TBS. Now, there was a lot of speculation heading into this. People were going to be wondering what is going to happen. What is, what are they going to do with Dynamite? Are they going to be moved to a different night? There was a lot of speculation as to what was going to happen with Dynamite, given everything that's been going down with the NHL, the NBA, and all of that stuff. So it's official. Next year, they will be heading over to TBS. So here is a comment that a direct quote from the general manager of TNT and TBS who said, and I quote, "What led to the move is, did the NHL have anything to do with it?" He says, sure. NHL had something to do with it. NBA had something to do with it. The COVID schedule and a ton of preemption. So he kind of talked about the multiple reasons and the multiple factors as to why AEW Dynamite is being moved over to TBS. Now, here's the thing too, is that they're being moved over, but also we are officially getting the new third hour per se. So it has been noted that for a while now that there might have been there was going to be another hour of AEW Dynamite content added to the full schedule. And now we officially know that starting August 13th of this year, we will be getting AEW Rampage. So AEW Rampage will be on TNT, but once we actually move into 2022, then it will be moving on to TBS as well. But for now, it will be on TNT. Now, aside from the fact that once we get Dynamite on TBS and Rampage on TBS, we are also going to get 4 new additional shows, which will be like their like supercard type shows. Those will be airing on TNT. So they're not officially saying goodbye to TNT forever. They are still going to have 4 shows on there. And we actually had a quote here from Tony Khan, who talks about the financial positives of all of this. He says, quote, "The financial upside to our new agreement will give us the opportunity to continue to invest in and grow AEW to serve the most important people in our industry, the fans, the wrestlers, the staff, and the sponsors." Dave Meltzer did report that they are making some extra money on this move, on these changes. So that's only going to benefit AEW, as we heard Tony Khan say this in this segment. And then later on Busted Open Radio, Tony Khan was on talking about the AEW move and AEW Rampage, basically saying that quote, "We knew that another show was coming this year, and I've been saying it for a long time that we were going to add another night, 1 hour, and I didn't want it to do 3 hours of Dynamite. They asked at one point if we wanted to do 3 hours of Dynamite when it came up about doing a third hour. And I said, I really believe in doing it on another night. And thank God Tony Khan had the sense to not go down the path of doing a 3-hour show. He also said on Busted Open Radio that in comparison to how Rampage and Dynamite are going to be, he says, quote, "And I promise Rampage isn't going to be a secondary show. Rampage is going to be a partner of Dynamite, the equivalent to Dynamite. We have these two strong franchises, Dynamite and Rampage, and they are our weekly core properties. When it comes to talking about Dark and Elevation, he says that they're partially, obviously, more of a developmental show, whereas Rampage and Dynamite will be core properties of TNT for the rest of the year until they move over to TBS. So that is the latest. What do you guys think? I know I gave you guys a lot of information to kind of kick off the show there, but I wanted to get that all out of the way before I go in and take some of your thoughts that we have here. So here we go. We have our first super chat from Dagon S. Broad. Thank you so much to Dagon, who says, "Hi, Denise. Happy day after your birthday day. Great episode of Dynamite. Red Velvet versus Serena. Deeb stole the show, in my opinion. It was a great match. I cannot wait to talk about it. And thank you so much to Dagon for sending in this super chat." And we actually have a couple more super chats. Thanks, guys. This one's from Matthew Makovsky, who says, "Caster's oral session line had me dead. Also, Double or Nothing is looking effing stacked. I literally cannot give a most excited match." He literally cannot name the match that he's most excited for, is what he's saying here. That Max Caster line about Renee was absolutely, it killed me. I do not recall the last time I popped for a line on a wrestling show in a very, very long time. Well, that's not true. I mean, I've popped for a lot of things, but like this one, I was legit like, oh shit. You know, I don't think anybody else had any other reaction other than that, really. We have another super chat. This one's from OJ Simp, who says, "It's Wednesday. You know what that means. It's Miro Day." Also, Rip Spinnernet 1, very sad to hear. OG YouTube wrestling commentator. I actually did not know about that, so thank you so much to OJ Sim for bringing this to light. Thank you for sending it a super chat as well. It's very kind of you. And I'm trying to see. I think I got everybody's super chat. If I missed it, please let me know, but I think I got everybody. And if you want to get your comment read on here, you can send it in on a super chat. So in regards to what you guys all think about the move, let's see what we have here. We have a comment from Devin, who says, "I'm interested to see what comes of Rampage. Is it going to be AEW's Friday night fights feel, where it's just going to be a big deal matches only, like the opposite of Dark?" So that was one of the things that Tony Khan touched upon in that interview with Busted Open Radio, where he did talk about those differences. But it seems to me like this is going to be, you know how Raw and SmackDown are to one another. This is going to be the Dynamite Rampage are going to have that sister-brother relationship, whatever the hell you want to call it. But they're supposed, based on these quotes, it seems to me that these shows are going to be on par differently to AEW Dark, obviously. So we have a comment from Brandon who says, "Wonder if the TNT bout will turn into the TBS bout." Based on what I was listening to today with Brian and Lance on Wrestling Observer Live, I think that they had a really good conversation about this. So if you didn't watch the show, or if you already watched the show, then you already know what I'm talking about in regards to this. But I mean, I don't see why they can't easily change it to TBS, but I don't know if they are or if they aren't. I feel like they should just change it to TBS so it won't be so that it won't be so complicated. Matthew Chavalier says, "Bring Mauro Ranallo to Rampage." Dude, I don't know why I didn't think about that sooner. Your comment popped it, captured my eye, and I thought, hell yes, especially after hearing Mauro once again when we saw him on Impact as of late. Dude, that was awesome. I would love to see him over on Rampage, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. And let's see what else we have here, guys. Send in your comments. This one's from Pomi, who says, "Happy to see AEW get a deal with an even more available channel. Wonder if that could help them reach Raw-like ratings anytime soon." I know that was a lot of predictions for a lot of people. They predicted that AEW would get those ratings or be like right up there neck and neck with Monday Night Raw. I think it's definitely a possibility. I'm hoping that it'll happen at some point, maybe even by the end of the year. We don't know. But I'm never opposed to that just because, man, the more people watching wrestling, the happier I am about all of that. And let's see what else we got here. Joseph Boza says, you can tell AEW supports Renee and her podcast. I've seen a few episodes and Renee thrives in that environment better, especially when she talked to Dr. Britt Baker. I love Renee's podcast. Oral Sessions is a great podcast. I even got her book. I mean, she's killing it. And yeah, you can definitely tell that AEW definitely likes her, all of that. Everybody's talking about the Oral Sessions comment. It was a memorable one for sure. And let's see what else we have here, guys. All right, cool. We're going to go ahead and continue on, but let's move on from this conversation. Once again, for those of you guys who are in this chat, make sure to send in comments, and I will try to read some of yours as we go through this entire show. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So we kicked off the show today with Christian Cage versus Matt Sydal. So first and foremost, I kind of been looking a little bit back at some of the matches that Christian Cage has been having on AEW Dynamite. And so far now, he's had matches with Frankie Kazarian, Powerhouse Hobbs, Matt Sydal tonight. And I gotta say that I love the way that AEW is sort of diversifying his challengers in the sense that he's working different types of matches with different types of talents. Obviously, that match with Kazarian was a very, very memorable one. The one with Powerhouse Hobbs was awesome because we all know how much Hobbs benefited from working a match with Christian Cage. And then the match today with Matt Sydal was very fun, very good, and probably, I think, personally, the most comfortable that Christian Cage has looked inside an AEW ring. And so I kind of wanted to point that out because it felt pretty important to me, especially because given the fact that when Christian Cage first came on board to AEW, a lot of people were really wondering what direction are they going to be headed towards with him. So now we're a couple months in, we're starting to see what they have in mind for Christian Cage. And I got to say, so far, I personally am very much enjoying this here. In this match, we saw a lot from Matt Sydal, including a Meteora, a lot of kicks, and in the end, we saw Christian hit the kill switch and end up getting the win. But here is what I do have to say as well, is that Matt Sydal is the kind of guy that if you put him in there with somebody who you can argue is past their prime, it's going to show, right? It's going to show because of the way Matt Sydal works, because he's so fast and all of that. He's the kind of guy that can make an old guy look old really fast. And this is a compliment because Christian Cage looked phenomenal and went head-to-head, toe-to-toe, whatever the hell you want to call it, with Matt Sydal. And given the speed at which Matt Sydal works, I do not think that Christian Cage lacked whatsoever. He was perfectly able to match the speed with Matt Sydal. And I thought that was really, really good to see in this match. And just kind of, again, giving us a little bit more of an idea of what they're doing with Christian Cage. So I pretty much enjoyed all of this. Let's see what else we have here. This is a comment from Steven who says, how are people not expecting Christian and Matt Sydal to have a good match? Christian is a great worker. Come on, people. I don't think I saw anybody, at least I didn't see anybody thinking that they weren't going to have a good match. I kind of felt like they would right from the start. Although okay. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Okay, we have a comment from Sharonica Silman who says the Christian match was kind of boring to her. Again, it's different for everybody. Daniel says it's amazing how great Christian is looking in the ring. Yeah, I'm more on the side, obviously, of I thought this was the perfect opening match. I think that a lot of the AEW Dynamite matches, obviously the opening match sets the tone for the show. And I think for the most part, they're always pretty good at kicking off the show with good matches. So I do think in terms of following that precedent that AEW has said with their opening matches. I think that Christian Cage and Matt Sydal did just that. Post-match, we saw Ricky Starks coming out, and I gotta say that I'm really happy that they're still finding a way to utilize him, given his injury and the fact that he's gonna be out for a couple of months. I'm happy that they found a way to still continue moving the story along, because we all knew that they were going this direction with Ricky Starks and Christian Cage, and I was wondering, hey, how has the trajectory of this feud changed given Ricky Starks' injury? And still right now, I am curious as to, hey, if he's going to be out for a couple of months, what are they going to do to sort of prolong this or keep this hot so that when Ricky Starks is ready to get back in the ring, that he can successfully have this match with Christian Cage, which is obviously what they were working towards. So I am curious as to what different routes they're going to start taking with this storyline. And now I'm starting to think that it's going to be a really good possibility. And everybody, here it is. We might be seeing Cage versus Cage. And just to make me happy, in a cage. That would be really awesome. And now, obviously, that if they're going to find a way to prolong this storyline, we might be seeing Cage versus Cage. And for those of you guys wondering, Christian Cage versus Brian Cage. And all I got to say is they better do it in a cage. All right. So, again, Brian Cage. So as Ricky Starks comes out and he's cutting his promo and he's basically talking about how he's his own man. He's talking about the fact that he's going to be front and center, that he's not going to be sidelined. And he even mocks the extras that are sidelined on AEW Dynamite. I thought that was an awesome line there. Brian Cage, Hobbs, and Hook all end up attacking Cage and Sydal from behind. And then we see Hangman Page coming out to help out Sydal and Christian. And then he comes in hot. Hangman Page comes in hot, and you think, oh man, like this is going to be good. But then he's not able to overcome all three guys, and that makes sense. So there you guys go. That was the opening of AEW Dynamite. We have a comment from Kieran who says, Cage versus Cage in a cage is a dream match. If they do not do this match, we will riot. K-Town Shutdown points out, fulfill the Cage prophecy. Exactly. Fulfill it. We are Team Cage versus Cage in a cage. Let's see what else we got here. We have a comment from R. Riggs who says, loves Christian. This match hid that he is still working to get back that last step to fool Christian Cage. I agree. He looked very, very comfortable in this match. And it looks like he's got, those, he's got it going, guys. He's got it going. Let's see what else we got here. Jordan Patu says, I feel like Christian is really starting to hit his stride now. 100% agree with this. And I like the fact that a lot of us noticed this while watching this match. And here we go. We got another super chat. Thank you so much to Brandon Rosen. He sends in a super chat and says, Ricky Starks is an awesome promo. I see a lot of The Rock in his look and delivery. I also love the part where Hangman literally tells Ricky to hold my beer. I freaking love Hangman Page. That is one of my upcoming dream interviews that I want to get. And I almost had it too. Like last year, I almost had the chance to interview Hangman Page and it didn't work out. So I hope he's definitely on my bucket list of people that I definitely need to get. And I do get the comparison between Ricky Starks and The Rock in terms of like similar looks. And obviously, the way that he comes out dressed, you can definitely make that connection as well. So shout out to Brandon. Thank you so much for always sending in so many super chats. I appreciate it. We have a comment from AK Germany who says, Hook is really intriguing. I like him better than Ray's son. I've actually been having this argument with a friend who thinks the exact same thing that you do. And it wasn't really an argument. It was more of a discussion where you can't help but to make those comparisons between Hook and Dominic. Obviously, we've been able to see Dominic in the ring a whole lot more than we have Hook. But Hook has more of the look that you're actually going to buy. Like, I can actually imagine Hook, maybe in a couple of years once he starts looking a little bit older, I can see him more as like a guy that could legitimately kick someone's butt versus Dominic. I think he has more of like the baby look going still. So if that makes any sense at all, I would say that those would probably be the major differences. And that's not necessarily a knock on Dominic. It's just that Hook just comes across a lot more believable, I guess, as someone that's literally going to kick your butt. That's really what I want to get at here, where I'm going at. Chris Cage 2X says, nah, the dream match is Hook versus Dominic. Book it. Somebody needs to book this. And Sam 3 says, buy him a modelo. That's pretty funny. Let's see what else we got here. We got another super chat. Thank you so much to Wrestling Gamer, who says, I hope new Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence and Tim Tebow make a cameo appearance at Double or Nothing. Jackson stole the show at Stadium Stampede last year. So I don't know anything about football, guys. Like, anything at all. However, I do know Tim Tebow. I know that he's very popular. And that's about the extent of my football knowledge. So I'm sorry to all of the sports fans in here. I unfortunately cannot give a greater insight on sports. That's about where I draw my line there. But thank you so much to Wrestling Gamer for sending in this super chat. And we have a comment from Andy Adv Devon, who says, Hook looks like someone that will leave you laying on the street. Yeah, Mayor says not sold on either Hook or Dominic yet. But see, that's the difference, though, is that we've seen more of Dominic. We haven't seen that much on Hook yet. So with you saying you're not sold on Hook yet, I can buy it because we haven't seen that much of him. We've only seen little teases here and there. We haven't necessarily seen him go at it, too much on Dynamite. So but with Dom, you've seen a lot more. You've seen a lot more with Dom. I mean, he's tag team champions now with his dad in a history-making moment. So there you go. Oh my gosh, these comparisons are hilarious. So let's go ahead and continue on, guys. Alrighty. So after this, we had Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston versus the Acclaimed. And get the reactions coming in, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get your thoughts on Max Caster's blow away line today that nearly had me dropping dead on the spot. So Max Caster comes out and he basically says that Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley look like they can exchange Valentine's gifts to one another. Then he moves on to this next line where he tells this directly to Jon Moxley, quote, call your girl. She's in my mentions trying to hit me up for oral sessions. I will say that one more time. Call your girl. She's in my mentions trying to hit me up for some oral sessions. And holy moly guacamole, he nearly killed me with this, guys. He killed me. I could not believe how great this line was. It hit the spot in every sense of the word. Immediately, I think everybody's reaction was like, holy shit, did he really just say that? And how gold was that line and how epic was it? And now, all I gotta say is this. Renee needs to kick Max Caster's ass. And if Renee kicks his butt, I am 100% supporting her in kicking his ass. But that was a really funny moment, a great line, probably his best one yet, guys. Max Caster has had a lot of really good lines. I'm going to go as far to say that this was probably the most out there one. So what did you guys think about all of this? Jake Larson says, do you think Mox knew the line before, or was it a surprise? Nah, I think he knew before, guys. Like, you ain't just going to go out there and say something about somebody's wife and not at least, make a nod of it. I definitely do think that Moxley knew that something along those lines was coming, whether it be a play on words on oral sessions or something like that. Maybe he didn't know the exact line, but I definitely do think that he knew. Again, they're not just going to come out and say something about somebody's wife like that, especially someone's pregnant wife. So yeah, so that's the reason why it's like, okay, like it's funny, haha, but for a fact that it had to be cleared in some sort of way. And let's see what you guys are saying here. I'm going to go through the rest of your comments. I agree with this. This one's from R. Riggs, who says, I don't like that he explained the line after. He should have just left it at that. I agree with this because I think he was saying like, what? Like it's her podcast. I didn't really listen to that part, but I did hear it because I was typing out the line and I was replaying it in my head and I was trying to like get it out before I forgot the entire verse. So I heard him in the background basically saying this and I was like, don't kill it, bro. It's like when you make a joke and then you have to explain the joke because you think the person didn't get it. I think, yeah, ended at that. It's cool. Let the reactions come on in from social media, from the live crowd. Doesn't matter. Let it soak in the reaction here. Labor Day says, I needed like 2 minutes to catch my breath after that oral sessions line. Me too. It took me a bit to get into this match because I was still laughing my ass off at that line. So honestly, it did take me a second there. K-Town Shutdown says Max Caster over John Cena. Ooh, I don't know. I'd have to think about that for a second. And let's see what else we got here. This one is from Daniel who says, Mox knocked like a couple weeks worth of life out of the Acclaimed during the match. It was so fantastic. And I want to get some more thoughts on your guys' lines here. This one's from Christopher who says, I guess I'm old. I didn't find it that funny. I lived through DX sexual innuendos. Look, I still think that it was funny. It was so funny. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't funny to some people, but to me, it was epically hilarious. Hilarious. Mayor says, explaining your own jokes equals amazing heel work. Nah, I don't think so. I think they really should have just said it and left it at that and done with all of that stuff. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and continue on then. Again, if you guys want to get your comment, your question, your statement, whatever it is, or you just want to help me out here, feel free to send in a super chat. Once again, I do keep 100% of the proceeds after YouTube takes their cut, and that goes all into my PayPal and gets paid. All right, here we go, guys. All right, so this match itself, I haven't even talked about the match yet. That's how great this line was. But I think the fact that they got so much of a reaction from that one line that I felt like the crowd was like extra energetic or really, really into this match. I felt it like a little bit more than normal. But what I really do want to get at here, though, is that obviously Moxley and Kingston, they could have gone straight towards having this match with the Young Bucks, right? I gotta give AEW credit here because I think it is very good, obviously, that AEW, instead of having Moxley and Kingston go directly into this match with the Young Bucks, that they actually took the time to let them get some more wins underneath their belt. I like the fact that they even had them on Elevation, getting some wins there. I thought the fact that they did that, to me, I got to give credit where credit's due, and I got to give credit to AEW for doing that because they could have easily not had them pick up any wins or maybe just had one or two here and there. But no, they made sure that they actually utilized their shows, Dark and Elevation, in order to do that. Towards the end of the match, we saw Max throw Bowens a chain. He wrapped it around his fist, distracted the referee, but meanwhile, Max from behind gets the boombox and tries to hit Moxley, but Moxley cannot be outsmarted, and Moxley ends up hitting him with the boombox instead. Moxley hits Bowens with the paradigm shift, and this was a quick match. They win there, but I really do gotta say that the Acclaimed got a whole lot out of this match because they really, really went toe-to-toe with a guy who is one of the top stars on the roster, Jon Moxley. And here's the thing about the Acclaimed is that they did not feel like enhancement talent whatsoever. They did not feel like enhancement talent during this match. And not only did that benefit them, obviously, but it also benefited Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley to have a win over guys that don't necessarily feel like jobbers whatsoever. So I like this. I thought that all of this was good all around. This was very, very enjoyable. And we actually have another super chat. This one is from Chris Ludek, who says, good main event and closing segment, but they overdid it with the spray can to the face, which I think will play a role versus Moxley and Kingston. Yeah, we saw that come into play in the main event, which we will get into later today once we actually get to the main event. But seriously, though, we'll talk about the main event once we get there. But thank you so much to Chris for sending in this super chat. And I'll think a little bit more on what I want to say in regards to the spray here. And Labor Days points out rankings matter. Okay, let me go ahead and see some more time. Oh, we got a nice comment here. This is from Donald, who says, "This is my first time here, loving the show. You seem very organized, which is rare for live wrestling content. Great job." Donald, you have no idea. 2 weeks ago, or last week, I accidentally deleted all my AEW Dynamite notes from the last, 4 segments of the show, and I had to do everything based off of memory, which was hell. And then yesterday, YouTube shut down during my NXT stream, so I'm happy that today's show so far is going good. So far, if you guys are here every week, which a lot of you guys are, knows that anything can happen. Anything. So hopefully not. We have a comment from Brandon who says, "Moxley, Kingston make a great team. Love the chemistry between the two. Those guys are the real deal." 100%. I bloody love them. This one's from Tamzid, who says, "Moxley and Kingston need to win the AEW tag titles and have decent title reigns. They truly deserve it." You know, I haven't thought yet about what my predictions are for Double or Nothing. I'm going to wait. We still got another week of Dynamite and then I'll probably make my decision. Well, actually, no, because Dynamite next week is on a Friday, and I want to make my predictions for Double or Nothing ahead of that. I still haven't decided, though, what I think is going to happen. So I'll let that season a little bit more and think about it just for a bit. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to Christopher Marino, who says, "This was meant for last night, but YouTube, happy birthday, and got yourself a hot Cheeto burrito. Get yourself a hot Cheeto burrito." Guys, if you're not following me on Twitter, you are missing out on some great content, because one of those included, I shared a picture of me eating a hot Cheeto burrito. And if you've never had a hot Cheeto burrito, it is great. It is amazing. I bit into it and it was heaven. It was literally heaven. But thank you so much to Christopher Marino for sending in this super chat. Thank you so much. All right, and I'm going to go through some more comments here. And this one's from Deem the Devil, who says, "Overpromised and under-delivered." Are you talking about the match for the Acclaimed? Probably. Okay, you can follow it up on a different comment, and I'll see which match you're talking about there. But let's go ahead and move on, guys. So after this, we had a segment with Anthony Page. Who the hell is Anthony Page? Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky doing an interview with Tony Schiavone, and they come out. Sky basically says that he's a grown man and that he's warning Sting. He's no longer a little stinger. It's warning Sting, telling him to step aside or he will put him down. And I'm sorry, guys, but this to me literally feels like the exact same promo we got a couple weeks back from Lance Archer, because he pretty much said something along the same lines. It was overall the same premise. So this did not feel new to me whatsoever. Ethan Page says he wants to take everything away from Darby, says he will be the final nail in his coffin. Lights go out, Sting and Darby come out, and they go at it with Page and Sky. Sting gets Sky in a Scorpion Deathlock, and then the Dark Order come out, threaten Page and Sky by staring them down, and they run away. This whole thing to me, this whole Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, Sting, Darby, Lance Archer thing, all of that, I feel kind of got muzzled in together, and things started, every time you thought something was going a certain direction, it ended up going a totally opposite direction. I'm not even sure I understand what's happening with Lance Archer and Sting, and I watch the show every week, and I'm not even sure what's going on there. So this to me just kind of feel a little not clear. So that's where I'll leave it at with that, guys. If you have a better explanation on all of this, feel free to send it in. But for me, I'm a little bit out on this one. This is a comment from Daniel, who says, Ethan Page is so great on the mic and makes Scorpio look terrible by comparison. No, I think Scorpio Sky is great on the mic. I really do. I'm a fan of Scorpio Sky and his work and his mic skills. Obviously, I think that him and Ethan Page just have a very different delivery style, but I don't necessarily think that makes Scorpio Sky any less. I just think that they both deliver their promos in a very, very different type of way. This is a comment from Michael, who says, the Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page storyline is getting old fast. Page might as well go back to Impact and reunite with Josh Alexander, even though Josh is thriving as a singles wrestler. Hell yeah, he is. Look, I feel like they jumped into the Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page duo really, really fast, in the sense that I remember the first week that they did promo, Scorpio Sky was talking about the fact that he feels like he hasn't gotten the proper opportunities and all of this, right? And that made sense to me. But so was Ethan Page. He was saying pretty much the exact same thing. And that did not make sense to me because he had just joined the company. I think it was like a week, maybe 2 after Revolution. If I'm correct, if I'm getting my timing all set, but it kind of felt like, okay, you just got here. So why are you already talking about having lack of opportunities? So that was a little bit strange. And I think now it's more of like, I love their backstage at Blood and Guts when they had that whole brawl with Darby. That was one of my favorite parts of Blood and Guts. That was cool. And so, I mean, other than that, that's kind of it. I think those were like the main things that I've gotten from all of this. Okay, here we go. This is coming from Ryan Cordes talking about the Archer Sting situation. He says, I think the Archer Sting thing ended or paused when Sting gave Archer respect and told Jake he is wasting him. No idea where it goes, but maybe Jake turns on Archer and Sting comes for the save. I like this prediction. To me, it just I can't even say that I agree with this or disagree with this because for me, it got too convoluted. It really, really just got too convoluted. This is a comment from Mayor who said Scorpio went heel to prove he's a strong, independent grown-up, but then started randomly tagging with All Legal. Weird booking character development. And I didn't mind them as a tag team though, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, because I felt like it would give them both something to do. And they are getting obviously TV time. I just don't think that it's so far right now, it's missing the mark, I think, with a lot of people, especially based on the comments that I'm getting here from you guys. And let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from the Keys Boo who says Sky and Page feels like one of those things that started on Dark that most people didn't see. Exactly. I gotta admit, I don't watch Dark every week. Guys, I have a busy schedule. All right. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to Juan Garcia. Thank you, Juan. He says, happy belated birthday, Denise. Love the show. Thank you so much for this massive super chat. I got to tell you guys, yesterday I was super pissed at YouTube, at the whole YouTube shutdown thing. Cause I was like, bro, YouTube literally screwed me out of some money here. Because once everything got messed up on the live stream, it was hard for people to interact, hard for people to send super chats. So I really, really thank you for coming on here and sending these super chats. Like, they really mean a lot to me. And even if you don't send them, I just thank everybody for coming on to the show and chatting wrestling with me and all of that, and just helping me overall. It really, really means a lot to me. Thank you so much to Juan Garcia. Thank you for the love. All right. This is coming from Jordan, who says, seems like a lot of people have an issue with this storyline or what's going on here. This one's from Jordan, who says, my issue with Scorpio Sky is he left SCU to be independent and find success on his own. Now he has found himself in a tag team with someone else. Visible confusion. Yeah, it's kind of like those things where when your boyfriend dumps you or your boyfriend girlfriend dumps you and says, "Oh, I want to find time for myself. I want to see who I am without in a couple," and then bam, 2 days later they're dating someone else. That's exactly what happened here. So thank you, Jordan, for sending in this comment here. Okay, this is a comment from R. Riggs who says, my biggest issue with AEW is they start stuff on Dark or Elevation or BTE and don't do a recap on Dynamite. And I feel like they did one for something a couple weeks ago, and I was really happy that they did that. I forgot what it was, but I was happy that they did it because I feel like if you do something or start something or do something on Dark, Elevation, or Being the Elite, on any of those, or even on social media, you should inform the viewers of Dynamite, because just because you're a fan of AEW and you're a fan of AEW Dynamite does not mean you're watching every single show. So I do agree. I do wish that they would maybe give you like a brief rundown. And sometimes we do get that, like on commentary, they'll mention like, oh, this and this happened on Dark or whatever, right? I like that. But sometimes you also mute. Like sometimes you don't always hear what commentary is saying because you just mute them as you're watching the show sometimes. So even then, sometimes it does have to be reiterated, especially if it's something important or key to the storyline. So that's how I feel on all of that situation. This is Stephen Kramer says, The Scorpio Sky Lance Archer direction is completely nonsensical. He had a thing with Sting. Now he's against Miro. WTF. I don't know. Maybe Lance Archer's trying to find himself. He's coming of age on AEW. Guys, in case you haven't noticed, I watch a lot of TV. A lot of TV. Pillman Wrestling says AEW did a great recap of Dark Elevation to set up Omega versus Sydal like a month ago. They should do it more often. Maybe that's what I was referring to. This is a comment from Labor Days who says, people have to accept that Dynamite isn't the only place the storylines happen in AEW. Like it or not, would be nice, but it never has been the case. And it's been those situations too with like WWE also where like they'll do things on social media and then all of a sudden you're like, when did I miss this big giant thing? Oh, it happened on Twitter. And you're like, what? I wasn't on Twitter today. Well, too bad. You missed whatever happened. That's pretty much how I go with all of that. But let's go ahead and move on to the next thing because we still have plenty to talk about. But before we do move on to the next segment, guys, I just want to remind you all, if you haven't already, whether you're watching live, watching on the replay, or listening to the audio version of this podcast, make some time, head on over to youtube.com, type in F4W online, bam, you'll get to the channel. Make sure you guys subscribe. We are trying to get to that 100K mark, and I would love to be a part of it. So guys, make sure you come on over, subscribe. If you're watching here, make sure you're subscribed. All of that stuff. Subscribe. Also, I do now have 3 shows a week on here. I'm on here for NXT on Tuesdays. That's when I kick the week off. Then I'm here on Wednesdays to talk about AEW Dynamite, which is usually the most fun show to talk about during the week. And then we have Friday night Smackdown. So Friday I do Smackdown. Now, there will be a change for next week. So as you guys all know, because they announced this on Dynamite, AEW Dynamite next week will not be taking place on Wednesday. In fact, it's going to be taking place on Friday at 10/9 Central. So I did my time zone Googling. I did all of that. So it's literally going to be Smackdown. And then right after SmackDown's over is when AEW is going to go up for Dynamite. So that does change my streams for next week. So next week, I will be doing Tuesday NXT. And then Friday, I'm going to be covering both SmackDown and AEW on the exact same night. So hopefully all goes well. And instead of going live at my normal time, I will be going on 2 hours later so that I can have time to obviously watch AEW. So it's literally going to be SmackDown, AEW, and then come on here and do the stream. So I'll remind you guys every single week leading up until that moment. So just a heads up that next week's schedule will be a little bit different. If you do forget and you're like, when the hell did she go live? Just come onto the YouTube page and I always have the streams pre-set up ahead of time. But let's go ahead and move on to everything here. Someone, the Keys Booth says, hey, Denise, are you going to do an extra hour for AEW Rampage on Friday night starting in August? I have no idea. This is something that I have to talk about with Tony and see what he says and see what the plan is. I have no idea, guys. So I guess we'll figure this out. Since the news just broke today, I haven't had a chance to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. No idea as of this moment, but stay tuned. I will update you guys whenever all of this goes down. Yes, it's going to be the late show with Denise Salcedo. They just want to kill me, guys. At this point, they're killing me here. 2 shows, Friday night SmackDown and Dynamite on the same night, and I have to wake up early the next morning to fly to Florida. Damn, they're just screwing me now. All right, here we go. Next segment, we have the Pinnacle dinner. They're out looking fancy as hell, having dinner. And all I got to say is you cannot cut a good promo when you have good food in front of you. What is wrong with you, AEW? It was hard to pay attention to this segment because I just kept looking at the untouched loaf of bread that, of course, none of the Pinnacle members touched. I was eyeing the food throughout this entire segment, but MJF basically sitting at the head of the table says that when you're in the Pinnacle, you're on the top, that the Stadium Stampede won't be like it was last year, and that he is the only person that can one-up Chris Jericho, and that this will be the last opportunity the Inner Circle gets. So that was pretty much the gist of this dinner. Let's go ahead and move on to the following match. We had Hikaru Shida versus Rebel. And guys, as you know, Shida will be defending the AEW Women's Championship against Britt Baker at Double or Nothing. So you're thinking, all right, she's the champion. She has this big match coming up at Double or Nothing. We should be seeing a lot of her, right? Well, we're not. We have really not seen much of Shida. She came out today, and I thought to myself, oh, shoot, it's Shida. I should not be saying that. Why am I saying that? She's the champion. But we rarely see her, and unfortunately, this has been the treatment of her as champion for quite some time. But anyway, so Shida comes out. This is her first match, by the way, this month. So the last time we saw Shida in action was on April 21st when she defeated Ty Conti, in which was an awesome match, especially for Ty Conti, because she absolutely stood out in that match. But this was her first match this month, and since then, for the most part, Britt ends up distracting the referee. Rebel uses the crutch and hits Shida on the back. Then Shida hits a suplex, and it ends up being a 2 count. And then we get the finish here. Post match, Britt slams Hikaru Shida's face onto the mat. Onto the belt. Sorry, guys, I completely butchered this entire segment, but I just got to say that I feel bad for Shida, and I think that come Double or Nothing, this is one of my predictions that I'm totally sure about. When I was talking earlier about not knowing a lot about my predictions exactly as of this moment, aside from the fact that Kenny Omega is going to retain, I do got to say that Britt Baker needs to become AEW Women's Champion. They really need to refresh the title, and this is nothing against Shida. It's just the fact that she hasn't necessarily been treated like a champion on the show, and so I feel like they need to crown a new champion in Britt Baker to sort of reboot the division, especially because they've been doing so well with the women's division. They have really turned things around. And in order to really, kick it up there to the next level, I think we definitely need Britt Baker as champion here. So let's see what we have here, what you guys are thinking. This is a comment from Jason PS3 who says, how is both Shida and Asuka have terrible title reigns? Yeah, and especially they were happening literally at the exact same time until obviously Asuka lost her title. But this was a very big comparison that we were making for several weeks where it's like, what the hell is going on with Shida? What the hell is going on with Asuka? And it's none of their faults, really. It's just the way that they book. So let's see what else we have here. This is a comment from Joseph Boza who says, hell, the NWA Women's Championship got more love than Dr. Britt versus Shida at Double or Nothing. That company, NWA, is a giant cluster blank. I thought they would bring in Camille Brink to cash in on her title shot. Guys, I'm not that big of an NWA Power fan. I do not watch the product. I'm not the demo for them. So I won't even comment on this because I really am. I'm not even a fan. So I'm out on this one. And this is coming from the Keys Boo who says, Britt had a funny tweet about Shida's new action figure coming with a title. Said something along the lines of, might as well want to hold off shipping those Double or Nothing. That is awesome, actually. But given that fact that she's been champion for I don't know how many days now, how many months, I don't even know. It seems to me right that they obviously would ship her doll with the actual title. Plus, you don't want to give away your ending, have the doll come out without the title or because then people are going to be like, well, where's the title? People would jump to conclusions on all of that. And all right, guys. We have another super chat. Thank you so much to Daniel Zambranos. Daniel, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. He says, Shida's sit out knee breaker was freaking awesome. Yeah, let's talk about that too. Really awesome moment there as well. Guys, Shida's not the problem. It's just the fact that she was never showcased as a champion. But when she goes in the ring, it's a friendly reminder that Shida can go. Shida can go. Okay, this is a comment from Jordan who says, I feel like Shida has only been able to operate a fraction of her potential during this match. I don't even think she's gotten the fraction, guys. Out of 100% of pie, she's been able to do 5%. And I feel like she can do so much more. Patrick says, apparently there will be a celebration for Shida's 1-year championship reign. Guessing Britt will crash that celebration. That's right. They announced that. I completely forgot. They did announce that for next week. So that should be interesting. I don't know what they're going to do a montage. I have like 3 clips in there. All right. And let's go ahead and move on. Alrighty. And lastly, I read this comment from Ryan who says the fans absolutely love Britt. That match will pop the crowd easily. And Britt is a goddamn star. When you think of a star, Britt is definitely it. I cannot wait to see her have her moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to this next segment, which, to be honest, I wasn't that big of a fan of. Inner Circle comes out. We find out whether or not they're going to be accepting MJF's proposal of the Stadium Stampede, but if they lose, the Inner Circle is done. I'm sorry, guys, but for me, and I'll just be real with all of you, if I am begging somebody to give me a match, if I'm saying I want a match, just like the Inner Circle was begging the Pinnacle for a match, and then they offer you said match, and yeah, it comes with a big old stipulation on it with, hey, if you lose this match, the Inner Circle's done. Yes, it comes with a big consequences, but I'm sorry, as a babyface, you're supposed to say, screw that, I'm gonna do this match, and I'm gonna go for it because I have confidence in myself, because I am a goddamn babyface. Really, I should not have to have waited a whole entire week, and then plus like a however many minute promo this was to get the answer. And I get it, they're prolonging it until we get to Double or Nothing, but come on, let's come up with something different. They should have said yes last week. I did not need this promo here today for them to say yes. Plain and simple, the answer is yes, and there really for me wasn't anything else that I want to add to this other than the fact that I really do think that they're booking this whole story backwards. In my opinion, Stadium Stampede, just swap Stadium Stampede and War Games. They should have done Stadium Stampede first, have the guys fight in an open space, cool, and then end the feud, close the feud with War Games in an enclosed space where nobody can get out and it's more scary and all of that. So honestly, had they just reversed these 2 matches, it would have made a world's difference in this storyline. So now I'm to the point where after Stadium Stampede, because I'm still looking forward to Stadium Stampede because I love Stadium Stampede, after this, I want to see the Pinnacle move on from the Inner Circle onto something else. So what do you guys think? Send in your thoughts. Brandon says, Denise laying the smackdown on the Inner Circle. I'm sorry, but you just can't tell me, oh, these guys are baby faces, cheer for them. No, you got to make me want to cheer for them. As of right now, I have not wanted to cheer for the Inner Circle whatsoever. I already shared my thoughts on Blood and Guts. I'm not even going to get into that. I've already talked about all of that. But all I got to say is that so far, absolutely nothing has made me want to say I'm going to cheer for the Inner Circle. Hell, I want to cheer for the Pinnacle. They make more sense to me. They were the ones that were like, then you guys don't even deserve a rematch. And they were right. They don't. They surrendered. That's done with. I'm sorry, but I'm Team Pinnacle on this one here. Let's see what we have here. Thank you so much. People are agreeing with me. Thank you. Okay, this is a comment from Labor Days who says, Tony Khan booked the entire pandemic and Inner Circle thing backward, totally backward if you know anything about wrestling history. Yeah, it's literally, what I just said, it is backwards there. I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to complain, but I'm not going to complain because I still like both of those matches. I just wish they would have been done separately. Okay. And I'm going to read, let's see if I missed any other comments. Guys, once again, if there's something that you're like, I really need Denise to read, and I completely missed it here on the chats, feel free to send in a super chat, and I will definitely go ahead and read all of that. Patrick says, did you hear a rare Hager chant from the crowd? No, I didn't, actually. I didn't hear that whatsoever. And here we go. We got a super chat from Brandon Rosen. Brandon, thank you so much. He says, I think the Inner Circle had a nice run, but it's high time Sammy and Santana and Ortiz had an opportunity to shine on their own and go for some gold. Dude, the day that we have Santana and Ortiz actually champions, I am going to be so over the moon about it. Over the moon. And Sammy's definitely somebody that could be going for that TNT title. I mean, I think the Inner Circle has run its course. done, finito. But then part of me thinks that maybe that's not what's going to happen. So I don't know, guys. Every time I predict something, it always ends up going the total opposite direction. Okay, and here we go. We have a comment from Jerome who says, can't agree with your take on Stadium Stampede. I think the rivalry is bigger than a simple wrestling ring. They need an over-the-top conclusion. Yeah, an over-the-top conclusion would have definitely been War Games. I just think War Games should have been the end of it. I feel like War Games is not something you start a feud with. It's what you end a feud with. Where do you go from War Games? To me, War Games is more of a career-ending match than Stadium Stampede. So I think that's more of the line of where I'm trying to get at, is that I don't care when I love the Stadium Stampede. I just think that it should have been something that they did at the top of this instead of towards the possible end of it. Obviously, we don't know that this is for sure going to be the end of this. We don't know that, but we could assume. Ryan Cordes says, I'm pretty sure it was Jericho's idea to do blood and guts to start the feud. I'm pretty sure I heard him say that during an interview. I don't remember, so I won't comment on that because I don't remember. All right, and lastly, what else we got here? All right, cool. Okay, here we go. This is a pretty interesting point. This one's from Smalls Kenobi, who says, Stadium Stampede is AEW's baby. They're going to grow its history. Well, they could say the same. They have their version of War Games with the blood and guts. It's their version of it. It was the first one, so they can grow that as their baby too. But no, I get what you mean here with the Stadium Stampede. I get what you mean. Jason PS3 says, are we fans that impatient? I sometimes wonder about that. I wonder about that too. All right, guys. Lastly, let's go ahead and move on after this. All right. Okay. Labor Days confirms that Jericho did say that. He said that on his own podcast. Okay. Good to know. Thank you so much for sharing this. All right, guys. Okay. We have a couple more. Let me read this one from Dagon, who says, Denise, do you think they should have maybe had different teams in Blood and Guts? They could have. Or they just could have just waited a little bit more, even just a month. Just wait a little bit more. Brandon says, if the Inner Circle break up, I'm sure they'll interact with each other from time to time. Yeah, they're always going to have that. No matter what, at the end of the day, they're always going to have that history. So yes, I do agree with that too. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. And okay, this is a comment from Danny. I'll read this one and then I'll move on. Says, logistics-wise, they couldn't do War Games at Dailies on a live show because of size. I'm a few minutes behind. He says, yeah, we all know the logistics behind all of this. We all know the logistics. All right, everyone. So, as you all know, we've all been living under a pandemic. We all haven't been going anywhere. We're all ready. We're ready to start traveling, everyone. Well, here you go. Wrestling Travels Wrestle Kingdom 16 packages for 2022 are available now. Following their groundbreaking trip in 2020, 2 package day options are now available, which include round-trip airfare, 8-night hotel stay near Tokyo Dome City. That's awesome. Tickets to Wrestle Kingdom 16, airport transfers, guided tours, special guest appearances, exclusive merch, and more. Plus, now included, tickets for an exclusive Q&A with Wrestling Observer's very own Dave Meltzer at Todukan Wrestling Store. Secure your place today at wrestlingtravel.org. And guess what? You can use the code Denise50 for $50 off. The link to the website to book your trip over to Wrestle Kingdom 16 is in the description box below. If you've ever thought, man, I really want to go to Japan and I really want to experience Wrestle Kingdoms, this is it, guys. This is your chance. Wrestle Kingdom 16. If you guys want to get $50 off, use the code Denise50, get $50 off. Once again, wrestlingtravel.org, and you can find the link in the description box below. How's that for a live read? All right, guys. After this, we also had, we're going to move on to the next match here. All right, here we go. So after this, we had Red Velvet versus Serena Deeb. And I think at the top of the show, everybody here was talking about how much they liked this match. And today I was listening to Wrestling Observer Live, and Lance Storm was a co-host on the show today with Brian Alvarez. And Lance Storm, when he was talking about when they were previewing today's show, the match that he said that he was very excited for today was Red Velvet versus Serena Deeb. And when he hyped it up, man, I got hyped up. So this match starts off. Serena started with several punches to Red Velvet's face last night. Last night I was talking about, for those of you who were here on my NXT show, if you weren't, I'll reiterate. One of the things that I was talking about last night on NXT was the fact that Zoe Stark, I really like her because she has her fundamentals down and all of that. So I really went into that last night. So today when I was watching this match, the last couple of times that we've seen Red Velvet on Dynamite, I've been so sold on her. I've been so sold on her energy. I've been sold on everything that she's been doing in the ring. And today it hit me too. Just like it hit me yesterday with Zoe Stark, it hit me today with Red Velvet as to why I really like Red Velvet. And she is very similar to Zoe Stark in the sense that they both have their fundamentals down. I think a lot of the times you see a lot of people focus on their character, who they're going to be, that they don't always have the fundamentals down in the ring. But I do definitely feel that we have that with Red Velvet. And one of the things that I tweeted during this match was I am dying for Red Velvet to have a major win on AEW. I feel like there's been a lot of moments where I'm like, damn, you know what? I would have been a lot happier had they had Red Velvet win this match, because to me, she's come across as very, very impressive each and every single time that she steps into the ring. So part of me wants to see her win big, and I get it. I'm a little impatient. I'm going to keep my patience there. But if they're wondering who they think they should push in the women's division, Red Velvet definitely has to be one of those names. So we saw even just the way that Red Velvet was throwing shots to Serena's body looked cool. Even all the kicks that she was giving her were really awesome. We saw a moonsault from Red Velvet from the ring apron. That was pretty awesome. Then she did another moonsault, but Serena got the knees up, and Serena ended up getting her with a power bomb. People were chanting, "This was awesome." And then there was a moment where Red Velvet got the inside cradle, and I really thought for a second that she was probably going to get a victory there, but she didn't. And in the end, we saw Serena actually love the finish to this match. Serena was literally just grabbing her, I think it was her left knee, and just smashing it. That was such a brutal spot where it legit hurt my knees. She ends up getting Red Velvet in a submission, and she ends up tapping. This was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. And honestly, I'm a Red Velvet fan. That's really what I got to say here. We have another super chat from Daniel Zambrano, who says, in regards to this match, Serena Deeb is one of the best wrestlers in this country. Her and Red Velvet had a top 5 match on TV for the year. Favorite match on the show. Put all the belts on Deeb. Have her beat Kenny. Enjoy a Cheeto Burrito birthday party. Thank you so much, Daniel, for this incredible super chat. I really, really thank you for sending this in. Look, I love this match. I don't think it was like my favorite top 5 TV match just because I've been seeing a lot, but it's definitely up there in some of the best matches we've seen on AEW Dynamite this year for the women. Definitely, I would say that. But I still wouldn't go as far to say it was one of my top 5 matches of the year on AEW Dynamite TV, because there has been a lot of really good matches. So I would really have to take my time to actually think about that. But it was a really good part of the show. And considering that personally, it wasn't a match that I necessarily was looking forward to today, it killed. I loved it. I thought it was really great. So thank you so much to Daniel Zambrano for sending in the super chat. We have a comment from Pro Wrestling TV who says, Serena Deeb is as good as any lady wrestler on TV. It's good for women like Red Velvet to be in there with her, gaining knowledge and experience. That was good. Exactly why you need veteran women. We've been talking about this all the time. So now bring in Mickie James. All right, where am I at here? The Keys Boost says Red Velvet should be the first to beat Jade. Dude, I am 100% going to agree with you on this. Christopher Marino says this match was awesome. Deeb is so good. AK Germany says Serena Deeb planted the seeds for a heel turn in this match with how ruthless she was. She really was ruthless in this match. That ending, I loved it. I really, really did love it. Mayor says, the second time Deeb blocked that finisher in, it looked amazingly painful. They went so fast and hard. Didn't look scrappy at all. Match of the night. I love this. I love how many people think that this match was match of the night. And, okay, I'm going to go through some more comments since it seems like a lot of people have a lot of opinions on this. Jason PS3 says Red Velvet or Ty Conti. Dude, I love both of them. Honestly, I don't know who I would pick, though. I really like Ty Conti, but I also really like Red Velvet. I can't decide. This is like, I can't decide. I would have to think about it a little bit more to decide because I really like both of them. And I had nothing but amazing things to say about Ty Conti in her last match that she had with Hikaru Shida, which I thought was really good. Coming from James Young, who says Serena is just on another level. Jordan says Red Velvet has been one of those best talents to emerge from this pandemic era. They gave her the ball for that Shaq match and she has been running with it ever since. Dude, she, to me, was the highlight of that Shaq match. She was more of a highlight to me than Shaq himself. So that's really how I feel about that. And this is coming from Patrick, who says, love the ending of this match. It really made both women look good. Yeah, I don't think that it hurt her whatsoever losing this match. I agree. And lastly, let's see what else you guys are saying here. I think that's pretty much about it here. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, so after this, we had Austin Gunn versus Anthony Ogogo. So Ogogo hits him with a gut punch, and the match didn't end. To me, in my opinion, this match should have ended after the gut punch. I think after the gut punch, they need to really establish this. Gut punch or not. They either got to establish it or not. And this is the moment where I think they should have just ended it after that. Austin Gunn literally is bleeding from his mouth. And I thought that was, it really, really added to this. But he keeps it going. Anthony Ogogo gets several more punches in. And he's literally, Austin Gunn is just laying there lifeless. That's pretty much what we have there. Ogogo looked impressive, though. And anytime he got any sort of offense, where he got his offense in, he looked really, really good in this match. And I think a lot of people, when I tweeted this out, some people were like, no, I'm so glad that it kept going, this and that. The reason why I think that the gut punch should have really just ended this match is because not only do you establish this move, but come Double or Nothing, when he hits this on Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is obviously not going to go out with just a gut punch. No, Cody Rhodes is going to continue, and that's going to add so much more drama to the match. So that, for me, is why I think that they should have just ended it after there. You don't want to waste it on Austin Gunn. You want to build up and have this moment essentially be like an OMG moment when he has this match with Cody Rhodes. So that was my train of thought when I figured, okay, you got to end it after that. But guys, I'm still not feeling the whole anti-America thing. Again, I already said my thoughts on how I felt about that last week. I don't think that Anthony Ogogo needs it. I think that they should just go a different direction with all of that. But for the most part, I think Anthony Ogogo is looking pretty damn good. So what did you guys think of all of this? What did you guys think of Anthony Ogogo? Send in your thoughts here. Okay, let's see what we got here. This one is from Moist Dadbod, who says the pop-up gut punch was awesome. And James Young says, are we really going to see Ogogo beat Cody? Shameful. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm going into this thinking that Cody's going to win. But again, I don't know. And let's see what else we got here. We got a lot of comments on this one. Kareem says it didn't end early because Austin stopped the ref from ending it early. And Jake Larson says, why was Austin Gunn the guy to get up after the gut punch? He is an enhancement talent. It should have been saved for someone else. That is exactly what I think. I completely agree with this comment. Danny Spears says, right. I was confused after the gut punch. I wasn't sure if it was a signature punch or not. I think it kept it going for the drama. Exactly. But save the drama for your mama. Just kidding. Save the drama for Double or Nothing, man. Save it for Cody so that you can work up to this moment. Danny from the Bay says, Austin Gunn has a strong gut. There you go, guys. This wins it. This wins it. This is it. This is the argument. I can't argue with this. We don't know that. Austin Gunn has a strong gut. I really like this. And all right, guys, let's go ahead and continue on. Again, if I missed your comments, you guys can go ahead and send it in on a super chat. We have a comment from Danny in regards to the whole anti-American thing. Says, I think the patriotic thing doesn't work. USA and UK are in shambles. Politicians ain't getting called out left and right, but that's a whole other conversation. Yeah, that is a conversation that we had last week. I don't even want to circle back to that conversation. All right, guys. Brandon also jokes that Austin Gunn's hitting those sit-ups Hell yeah. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on because after this, we had a quick promo from Miro. Miro comes out, thanks Jesus Christ for giving him strength and power, says Darby disrespected him, but he forgives him. Lance Archer comes out and says that he will walk out as the new TNT champion come Double or Nothing. Then they literally announced so much for next week's Dynamite. I don't even think I wrote it all down, but we are definitely getting Miro versus Dante Martin next week. We're getting Joey Janela versus Hangman Page next week. Ogogo and Anthony Ogogo and Cody weigh in next week. Jade Cargill is issuing an open challenge next week. We're getting an Inner Circle celebration. We're getting the Hikaru Shida 1-year championship celebration. We're getting Darby Allin versus Cesar Bonani and so much more. They really need to slow down when they announce this stuff, guys. I cannot type fast enough. So we're definitely getting a lot next week. Let's jump into the final segment of the night. We had it in the main event, Varsity Blondes. Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison with Julia Hart versus the Young Bucks. The Bucks get Brian Pillman Jr. with several kicks to the back. The Bucks use the spray once again, this time on Garrison, and they even spray Julia Hart in the face, and that was such a heel move if I ever saw one. Pillman ends up tapping out to the sharpshooter, and the Bucks win. This was definitely a perfectly fine match. I won't go ahead and say it was I didn't think it was one of the best main event matches that we've been seeing, just because they've been having really good main event matches on AEW Dynamite, but this was perfectly fine. I also really liked the earlier promo that they did with the Varsity Blondes, where they basically said that they want the titles. I thought that was a great promo for them, especially because I don't feel like the more that they talk, the more that I like. So I did like that even then. Afterwards, though, we had Kingston and Moxley appear, and they go at it with the Bucks, and they even do my favorite thing of the night. They take off the Bucks' Dior shoes. They take off their shoes, and they take off their socks. And I swear to God, I better not be the only person that thought of the movie Hocus Pocus. If you're a Hocus Pocus fan, hit me up because I love Hocus Pocus. It's one of my favorite movies. And when I saw them taking off the shoes of the Bucks, I automatically thought to that scene where the bullies take off the shoes off of oh my gosh, I'm blanking now. When they take off his shoes in the cemetery, oh my God, it reminded me of that moment. So there you go. I just had to bring that up. All right, guys, we have a super chat from AK Germany 96. It says, healing it up by spraying the cheerleader was great. Easy heel heat. That and Kingston stealing the shoes are the little touches that I love AEW for. I agree with that. I like that. Yeah, I like little things like that. And it was such a douche move to spray Julia in the face. Even I gasped. I was like, how dare they? So yeah, that was a really good moment. I really like that. So shout out to AK Germany 96 for sending in this super chat. I'm gonna go ahead and read some final comments, guys, and then we're gonna run through the Double or Nothing card really quickly and talk about this. Thank you, Max's shoes. I was blanking there. When the bully steal Max's shoes, that was one of my favorite spots. Oh my gosh, favorite scenes in Hocus Pocus. And all right, let's see what else we got here. This one's from Justin Martin, who says, show up, choke out the champs, and then steal their ridiculously expensive sneakers. Gotta love Moxley and Kingston. You know, we've been seeing a lot of clothes stealing as of late. I feel like stealing clothes has been very, very a theme as of late. And okay, this is a comment from Jordan who says, Eddie stealing the man's socks had me in stitches. Moxley and Kingston are the greatest duo since peanut butter and jelly. I love their chemistry. Our Rig says, decent tag match. I don't mind the cheerleader. Would be nice to explain where they came from. Love the stealing of the shoes. Exactly. If this was something that was like done outside of Dynamite, they really do need to explain that as well. Okay. Oh yeah, Brandon Rosen also points out that I didn't talk about Kenny Omega and Don Callis trying to get Orange Cassidy to give up his title shot at Double or Nothing. They had that backstage segment as Orange Cassidy is sitting in I think the medical room or something like that, and he's got the ice on his shoulder, and they're trying to get him to sign the contract, and instead Orange Cassidy just rips up the contract, and he's just rips it up. Good segment. I like that. Yeah, I definitely forgot to mention that as well. And Patrick says, I'm happy to see the Varsity Blondes getting a main event. Hell yeah, good for them. I'm really happy for them as well. Razor2910 says the theme of wrestling that we've been seeing as of late is stealing clothes and triple threat matches. This is definitely it. All right, guys, what else do we got here? Cool. Let's quickly go through the Double or Nothing card here. So I got lazy and just copied and pasted from Wikipedia, but we are definitely going to be seeing the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle in a Stadium Stampede match. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Miro versus Lance Archer, which was actually announced today. So I'm looking forward to that match as well. Hangman Page versus Brian Cage is probably the match that I'm most looking forward to. Then we got the Casino Battle Royal with some of the names already announced include Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, Jungle Boy, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, and Penta El Cero Miedo. And then we're also going to be seeing Cody Rhodes versus Anthony Ogogo, Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker, Kenny Omega versus Don Callis. And then we are also going to be seeing the Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston. The Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, plus Sting and Darby versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, all happening at Double or Nothing. So it's going to be a kick-ass show. If anybody here is going to be at Double or Nothing, I will be at Double or Nothing. If you see me, feel free to say hello. I'll be there. It'll be a great time. I will be watching the show, live tweeting from the show, and then afterwards I will be attending the media scrum. So once again, if any of you guys are there for the show, feel free to say hello. I would not mind that whatsoever. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, before I go, my next show this week will be for Friday Night Smackdown. That's usually our most chill, most relaxed show of the week. We always have a really good time, so make sure you guys come and join that show. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Twitter and or on Instagram @ Denise Salcedo. We have another super chat. This will be our final one of the day. This one's from Brandon, who says, best part of AEW, no zombies. Dude, I was thinking, I felt like I should come on here dressed as a zombie at some point. I don't know when, but at some point, I'm going to come on here dressed as a zombie, and we're going to have Zombie Speak Now Pro Wrestling. It's been decided. Thank you so much to Brandon for sending in another super chat. All right, guys. Again, do not forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on Friday for Friday Night Smackdown. Have an awesome day, everyone. Take care. Bye.